I'm an IT operations and security admin by day, which means I spend most of my time managing invisible systems. But lately, I've been obsessed with a system I can actually touch: 3D printing. I've given myself a challenge. Can I turn a messy workbench and 60 spools of plastics into a profitable side hustle? My new X2D printer arrived, and first of all, it needed quality inspection done by the dogs. I'm not sure if they approved, they would rather want treats. If I can sell some prints, maybe it can pay for some treats. I finally took my time and visited Kirppu in a city close to where I live. This was on a Sunday, and I was actually surprised about the amount of people there. It's looking good regarding to trying to get prints sold. When I was walking around, it was mainly toys and cloth on the shelves. As you are able to see here, there is a ton of shelves. But I didn't really see any 3D prints so far. So I actually had to check every single stall just to know if there were any other people selling 3D prints, and if there were any, what were they selling. But it was really hard to find any. And finally, I managed to find this booth where there were a few prints. There were only like 5 among a lot of different other stuff. I didn't find the prices somehow, but that was the only prints I found in the store, and there were a lot of booths. Hardly any of them were empty, but there were a few, so I think I'm able to get a booth whenever I want. I'm still just running around checking every single booth, but there were no other 3D prints, at least not that I found. I must admit, there were a ton of booths. I have no idea how many. A guess would be 300 booths, but I'm not sure. And only one had 3D prints for sale. At least just one that I found. So there is hardly any competition. One of the hardest parts for me during this challenge has actually been figuring out how I should price my items. So I went ahead and wanted to weigh every single item so I knew how much my total stock was weighing, and then comparing that to my total expenses. That way I would kind of get a baseline of a pricing. So if we go over to the spreadsheet, then I have all my expenses calculated up here. In Danish, it's 1100. That covers the lease at Kirppu, filament, consumables, power, and some supplies. Now, I needed to figure out a profit rate. I've decided to set it at 100%. It's not because I want the 100% profit. It's more that then I don't have to sell every single item to be able to make up for all my costs. The commission at Kirppu is 19%. My price per gram is actually my total stock is almost 2.5 kilo. And when I divide all my expenses with that amount, I get 43 Danish. Now, when I add my target profit and the commission, then I'm actually quite lucky, since in Danish currency, Danish kroner, it's almost 1 per gram. So down in the table, I just added the weight to every unit. Like the panda weighs in at 13 grams, which make all 5 pandas 65 grams. The price per unit for my expenses is 5.63. If I want to make 100% profit and cover the 19% commission, then I should be selling them at 13.4. But I have chosen to price them at 20, which means that I will have a profit margin of more than 200%. When I started to do this, it also showed me why it's very popular to print toys. Because when I start to look at all my functional prints, like the birdhouse, I have priced it at 175, which is almost 30 USD. And that's only just covering the cost. If I should make 100% profit, then I would need to more than double the price. This is a bit more than 70 USD if my calculations are correct. If I take my default battery holder, it's also in the red. I only make 37% profit unless I start taking some prices that, well, I won't be able to sell. So overall, most of my functional prints are in the red, while some of the toys or flexis have huge profit margins. Had an old fidget ring lying around. It's only 3 grams. I plan to sell it at 10 Danish, which makes a profit margin of more than 600%. And still, it's a super cheap item. I guess this shows why a lot of people are selling so many toys, but this also shows that if I sell everything, then I'll, after having paid for all my expenses, having paid the commission, I'll make close to 1,000 Danish or 150 USD. So this video haven't been much about printing. It's been a lot more about how I'm trying to price my items, since that's also new to me. And I visited Kirppu and saw that there was actually only one booth selling 3D prints, so there's hardly any competition. But that also meant that I couldn't really figure out pricing by looking at what other people were doing. In the next video, I will hopefully know when I'll have a booth at Kirppu. I just need to find a time where I'm not too busy, so I'm able to go restock if that should be needed. I'm still trying to learn how to do the editing and everything on the videos as well, so I hope you bear with me, and I'll try to improve as this challenge goes along. Hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.